Naomi's world is changed forever after a battle between Superman and Mongol passed through her small town. Unfortunately, she was one of the only residents to miss the melee. To make matters even worse, Naomi also missed Superman's return to help clean up some of the destruction from his fight with Mongol. These two random incidents caused Naomi to search online for any news articles recapping the Superman appearance, but she soon realized not a single outlet picked up the news. I'm not usually one of those guys that just say, hey, this is the hottest book in the world, let's do a review on this, but everyone's looking for it, everyone's asking about it. So I've got issue number 1 right now. It's a $45 book now. So we'll take this off the wall and we'll take a look at this one and we'll review Naomi number 1. All right, this is one of the first books by Wonder Comics. DC's doing a new series called Wonder Comics with some new characters or some, new stories. They feel as though they're geared towards like teenage young adults. They've got Naomi, they've got Young Justice, Dial H for Hero, and Wonder Twins. Naomi is actually the only one that's readable. This book here is probably the only one that's somewhat readable for someone my age.
Today, Junior?
And like an older adult. I get the feeling when I look at this book, when I see this book and read it, it really seems like it's for teenagers, young adults. Because Brian Michael Bendis was doing it, I'm a big fan of a lot of his work. I just wanted to give it a shot. So what it is, we've got this girl here, Naomi. She's in a town. It's another type of thing where it's some teenage girl doing a lot of whining and stuff. I don't need to read that stuff. Don't ask me. I read this a little while ago, and as you know, I don't remember full details of a lot of things. I read so many books. So anyway, Superman shows up in a town, fighting somebody, makes a mess. She misses it. Now she's all bummed out. All there is, you just got her dialogue. What do you mean I missed it? Oh, I missed Superman. So she's infatuated with superheroes for some reason. But as you go through the book, it's pretty much her checking stuff online to look up things with Superman. She's been adopted, so I don't know if maybe she thinks that she's a kid of a superhero or something. Her finding out things about has there ever been any other superhero sightings in her town? Throughout the whole show, it's all her still wandering, doing school things or whatever. Pretty kind of boring, actually. But then Superman comes back to help clean up the town, because that was another thing. The superheroes make a mess. Who's gonna clean this stuff up? Well, Superman actually comes back. She pretty much missed it. She's talking with her friends, whining. I miss Superman. You guys all got to see it. Wow. It was pretty boring. Now she's talking to her psychiatrist, or I don't remember, maybe her social worker or something. And again, it's all about stupid teenage shit. If you like reading about that stuff, perfect. I see enough teenagers. I hear it. I don't need to read it in a book. I'm trying to get to the good part. The only good part of this book is when you get to... There's still more babbling again. This is typical Bendis stuff where he's just got some babbling. Sometimes his dialogue is good. I don't know why this book is such a big book. Then she sees this guy right here. She sees this guy. He's a town mechanic. She thinks there's something going on with this one. I actually don't even remember what was going here, why they're hugging and not. Probably, again, you could probably have skipped this whole page. She goes to talk to this guy. This guy kind of acts shy. Hey, get out of here, kid. I don't want you around here. Then he tells her, hey, you need to leave. The book ends. Until it got to these last 3 pages, these are the only 3 pages that actually made me go read issue number 2. Was this guy says, oh, this is a little ominous here. And so I was wondering, I wonder who this guy is. Because he also knew the last time Superman showed up, there was a fight in this town. That was the day, it was on this day, the day you were adopted or something. So that's why I think she thinks she may be related to him or something. This was the only interesting part of the book, but it was just enough to get me to read issue 2. Issue 2 is more of the same. Until you got to the end of the book, there was just enough to read issue 3. Now that issue 4 is out, issue 4 actually, 3 and 4 actually became a little more stuff happened in the book. I don't know what the big deal of why this book... I mean, I know why it is, because a lot of it's speculators for it, because it's not that good. It doesn't suck. It's okay. Like I'd probably give it like a half a thumbs up. It's just a mediocre book at less with mediocre art. Why it's a huge hit? Who knows? It's a speculator market. Give it another 4 or 5 issues, and the people who are speculating will leave. If you remember a year ago, everyone wanted Mr. Miracle #1. Nobody even comes in the store looking for Mr. Miracle anymore. It's forgotten about. This is going to be probably one of those stories, one of those books. I mean, this is okay here when you get stuff like this. This was really nice, but when you look at it, it almost looks like the color forms. Like this is here, and this was just, he put it on a computer and pasted it right on top of the artwork. I mean, it's almost like you can see the white. You can see it's almost like you can see where it was cut out and put and put on. But even when you look at this, I mean, it just looks like that was pasted on over artwork. Here's a color form. I know it's dating myself. Some of the kids that watch this show, or the younger ones, don't know what color forms are, but the adults do. These look like color forms. Hey, I could peel this off here, and I'll put this over here. And let's peel this off here and put it over there. That's what this artwork looks like. I mean, look, everything's nondescript except for the three people in front. I mean, it looks like, again, this looks like there was something that was just pasted down on it and done. So it looks really computery, really, I don't know. I actually don't know how to describe it. And there's another good scene. There's another good, like right here. Nobody moves at all. I think the artist is lazy. It's the same background picture. No one moves at all. But the three here does what they're doing, and that's it. And it just looks like it was cut out and placed on it. I don't like that. It looks like color forms. The whole thing is you could take one page, paste it down. The background's all the same. And anyone who used to play with color forms as a kid, the background was always the same. You just changed the characters on the background. It's the same exact thing. These people are still doing, in every panel, still doing the exact same thing. Yeah, it looks too digital. I don't hate it. I can tell who everybody is. That's a plus for some of the other books that are out there. It just looks like, it actually looks too digital. Coloring's fine. The paper's great. I mean, DC's starting to use that non-glossy paper, which is fantastic. But yeah, it's just the way on some of it, the way some of it is. I mean, these pages aren't as bad as some of the other pages. I think it's because I like Bendis. I give him a lot of leeway. There's enough in it to get you to want to read the next issue. But when you read pretty much half the issue to 3/4 of the issue, like you're like, why am I reading this? And then you get to that point again. It's like, oh, I want to see what happens with this. So he's got it right along. He's getting it right along to string you along with it. But I think overall, I don't understand why this book is what it is, how much it's running, how much it's going for. In the end, it's a mediocre book. Speculators make it so the people who actually want to read the book sometimes can't find it. Or they have to pay an overinflated price for the book just to get it. Eventually, we've seen what the speculation market did in the 90s to comics. It'll eventually do it again. I would say they ruin the book, but they skew the numbers because, probably in another few issues, you won't see those numbers. Stores will be ordering a ton extra, but they won't be selling them. They're going to say, why does this book suck now? Why is it done? Because the speculators just stopped buying it. You have the true readers who are actually buying it. Most of the people who have come in looking for the book, I know who they are. The ones that, there are people who subscribe for it and says, hey, I'm interested in books. I like it. And then there are ones who just come in on the day, like issue number 4 came out. It was going for $15, $20 online before it came out. Well, every person that walked through the door, I knew which person was going to ask me for Naomi, because that's all they ever look for. I didn't have it. I kept a couple off the shelf to give to my customers that I know that are reading the book that aren't subscribers, and I didn't sell it. I didn't sell it to the speculator guy because I only had a few extras. But yeah, I could tell you which customers that were going to come in and specifically ask for it, because that's all they ever do. They just go from store to store to store, and they're like, hey, look, I got 15 Naomis, or I got 15 Mr. Miracle #1s, or whatever is the hot book that week. I don't necessarily think they're not helping the comic companies, or they're helping. Yeah, those numbers are overinflated, but then when they drop off, the numbers drop, and then stores get stuck with all the other with all the extra ones because they're not buying them anymore. Now that I'm up to issue 4, there's some interesting things going on that it's a pretty cool, it was a good read. But leading up to it, like the first couple issues, if it wasn't Bendis writing it, I don't know if I would have read issue 2. Even though there was enough in it that said, at the very end, where it says, "Oh, I'm kind of interested in this," but because I like Bendis stuff, I gave it an extra chance. If you can get through the gibberish of her, being texting on her phone, whining about Superman or whatever. If you can get through that, yeah, then it's great. But there's a lot of that you could just rip out a bunch of pages and skip stuff, and you'll still get the gist of the story that's going on. If you're first ever reading comic books, hey, what's something good that I should read? Naomi's not the first book I'm going to tell you to read.
Careful, there's a lot of experts that
Yeah, there's a lot of experts that we watch and say, you didn't put it in the bag right.
What kind of tape is that? You should be using Scotch.
Yeah, not Staples tape, Scotch tape. There we go. Back to the wall. That's how you do it, Corey.
Good job.
Now, if me and you were doing something together like that, we would have been able to play off and probably got into more details. Because, like I said, look at that shit that I was watching. I didn't know half the detail. I forgot half the details of some of it.